veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capping space. I won't stop till I hear him say.
Hey guys, welcome back. We're back after the Super Bowl break. We're back with Ready to Love, Miami season 7, episode 7, Queens Don't Chase. How's everybody doing?
Fantastic.
Doing
fantastic.
good. How about you?
Doing great.
Oh, good. Glad to have you all. Kimberly, Ron Freeman, who has much to say today, and also Alex Leath as magnetic repellent is in the house, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You guys, I don't know what to say after the Super Bowl. Like, I came back to watch Ready to Love, and it's like the drama's starting to heat up. What were your impressions, Ron? I'm gonna ask you first. What were your impressions?
What, the episode?
Yeah, your overall, was it good? Was it bad?
A lot of people didn't like this episode for what I've been hearing.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, from the last podcast thing I did and stuff like that, everybody was like, they weren't feeling this one. But
I thought it offered a lot of different things. Like, what did you think? How did you think your friend Blake did?
Oh, phenomenal. Yeah, he
we don't get to that in the last little, because that little part at the last end.
He killed it. It was one of the
he killed
the best performances I've seen a guy on Ready to Love yet, and he was perfect.
You know what? I have to say, and I'm not a fan of Blake's, okay, but he's gonna come. I'd love for him to come on after the season is over and explain himself. But I did get like that stoic military man or military person stoic, because as someone was saying, like you said in another podcast, my daughter went to boot camp twice, and what they do is they yell in your face, they talk about you, they may talk about your mama, they subject to say any darn thing, right? And you have to take it or else you're out. So anybody that's been through the military and been through any kind of boot camp, let's see, let's welcome in Jay. Hey there, Jay. Anybody that's been through any kind of military boot camp, that you have to control your emotions. So I will say, I got to give him credit. I think he did an excellent job at the end of controlling his emotions.
Yeah, I saw that military training come in too, because if you watch any military movie, when it's a setup or ambush, the first thing they say is retreat. And they book everything out and leave. Where me being more of a fighter, I'll say keep fighting, but they know that you can't win that. You're getting set up, you're being ambushed. Back up and get out of there. And that's the training that comes from the military.
You're right. He was playing chess to her checkers. It seems like. But we're gonna talk about it a little bit more. Anything else that stood out to you in this episode, Jay?
First up,
Okay.
Hi everybody. Hello.
Hey.
Hello. I don't know what you guys mentioned already, so I'll just let us move forward then.
Yeah, no, I was just asking. The general question was how did you like this particular episode? Just generally, we haven't gotten into any detail yet.
Overall, I enjoyed this episode. Actually, it wasn't that bad. It was a lot going on, a lot of people's real selves coming out to the surface over craziness, and I know people not gonna like my opinion on a lot of stuff today, because I'm gonna be Team Ron and support his boy today. and I heard the last little bit. I heard the last little bit that you were saying that's a military training, but some of us really have learned over time not to give that much emotion to people when they feel the way they feel, especially when we know for sure they don't know us. But they're coming up with their own opinions based off of maybe what somebody else said or one interaction that we may have. I'm typically like that. Like, you don't know me. I'm not about to give you energy.
Good point. Good point.
based off of
Yeah.
how you saying. So it's not really military training. I mean, I guess it might help a bit to be a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
stoic and reserve your emotions. But a lot of us out here just like, I don't know you, so whatever you think, it really doesn't bother me. Okay, carry
Doesn't
on.
bother you. Yeah. Good point. Good point. What about you, Kimberly? Any thoughts on since we're all kind of talking about at the very end, the scene between Morgan and Blake? Any brief thoughts about that? We'll cover it more in detail later.
I thought it was a good episode overall. Glad Morgan, cleared her chest, and yep, Blake handled it well.
Yeah, he did. And guys, don't forget, if you're out there, don't forget to like the video. It's so important to keep us in the algorithm, and we appreciate everything that you do. Appreciate you guys being here today. Um,
You know what I like,
Alex,
Aubrey? You know what I
yeah,
like?
yeah,
I
mhm.
like the fact that at the midpoint after the elimination, which we'll get to obviously, I like how they gave everybody a sense of urgency. It's like, get your connections in order now, because now we're in the second leg and it's really going to tell now who your real connections are. And it gave people a sense of urgency. And, as far as Morgan and Blake's situation, she was definitely trying to trigger him or pull him in to a conversation, and he wasn't having it. I mean, I'm glad she got whatever she had to get off her chest. I'm pretty sure she was being honest and as she saw it, but he wasn't having none of it.
Shout out to our 18 members who are in the house right now. Roro for real. We see that Monique King, a moderator also, as well as a team member. Ravine S. Hey, how you guys doing? Good evening. Yeah. Basically, she did seem to be trying to pull him into something. I think, though, also maybe for her, from a woman's perspective, um, I think that, she let some things that bothered her. She said from the mixer, well, the mixer for us at least, and I don't know in daytime, in real time, how long this was for them, but that seems like that was forever ago, because that's 6-7 weeks ago. The mixer, right? The beginning, the introductory mixer. So like the thing would have been probably for me is maybe some of that conversation she could have had that with him earlier on, because sometimes we as women, we allow things to fester in our spirit, and I think we just got to start telling people, hey, look, what you said hurt me, and these are the reasons why. And then if that person doesn't care or they don't respond in the way you want them to, let it go. Like to what Jay said, learn to be unbothered.
And I like what Blake did when Blake said, I'm not sure, what I said, but I apologize that it made you feel bad. And then she says, well, how can you be sorry if you don't even know what you said? He said, but it made you feel bad. So I apologize for making you feel bad. Doesn't matter what I said, but it made you feel bad. So I apologize for that. I like how you handled that.
Well, I got my own thoughts about his actual words, like you said, what he said about that, because I don't really, honestly, looking at it from a viewer, and I looked at it several times, that scene, I don't take that as an apology. If you say you're apologizing for how I feel, I don't take that as an apology, because the apology is you apologize for what you did. But like I said, we're gonna get into it.
He really had no context though. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
what I like about Blake is when he first comes to the conversation, he's very nice and he's filling it out. What he's doing is he's filling out the energy. So
Okay.
he knows he ain't supposed to be on this date with Morgan. This ain't a date. So he knows that.
Right. He's smart enough to know that. Obviously.
Yeah, so he knows the setup is coming, but he needs to make sure. So he starts off being courteous. He's like he did with Jeffrey on the boat when he was about to start this conversation. He was being courteous at first. Then he felt the woman's energy. And when he felt the energy, he knew Morgan wasn't going to come out of good faith. That means there was going to be no solution to this conversation. It was just going to be strictly attack. So when he knew that was coming that way, he knew, okay, I can't have a logical conversation here because she's not trying to have it. This conversation is not going to go in good faith. So therefore, I have to back out and play my protective role. And that's what he did. But he filled it out first.
Yeah, you're right. And Roro, for real, yeah, I'm going to put a star on your comment, because I do want to come back to that, because I think there's some factors there that, like I said before with you, Ron, and I wish Jeremy was here, because, Jeremy and I, we always have good discussions and debates. But I think it's so layered. This thing is layered. I'm not agreeing with how Morgan handled it, but there are some things that Blake has said to the women, and to specifically Morgan, that comment about a baby. She wanted to have a baby at any cost, or he didn't say that to her. He said that in the men's lounge, right? But you got to figure that there's a chance that that got out of the men's lounge and into her ear. So I mean, I find that kind of insulting that a guy would say that I as a woman want a baby at any cost. Like I would have it with any man. I would pay any amount of money. I would do anything to have a baby. But the other thing that's challenging for me is that I can't really firmly put myself in her shoes as a woman of 35 or 34 or something like that,
38,
because
38. Is she?
oh, she's 38. Okay.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is from my personal experience, because I had my children very early. Before I turned 30, I'd had 2 children. So I honestly have to say, and I think I'm able to empathize with a lot of things, but I don't know what it feels like to be a woman and be 35 and not have any children. I don't know what that feels like, but I think that has to put pressure on a woman, more pressure than say a man, because men can father children basically at any age for the most part. So we'll get into all of that. Let me go ahead, guys, and just get it started here, because we definitely got to talk about that whole Blake Morgan scene. That's a lot. That's a lot to unravel. So we open up with Jeffrey. Oh, wait. Am I in the right place? Yeah. Jeffrey, because we opened up from last week, right? Continuation, guys, and we know we were off last week, but Jeffrey is kind of fussing with Sue Ann and Blake, Jamil, Dimples, whatever you want to call them. They're the same discussion where Sue Ann is saying, keep my name out your mouth. But Tommy kind of rattles them in and says, you know what? We all have to be able to take constructive criticism. I think that's true in this show and in real life. If you're trying to advance and make changes and improvements in yourself, you have to be willing to stop and put your ego aside and say, you know what, maybe someone, it may not even be somebody that I want to go further with, but maybe someone that I'm dating or have dated in the past, maybe they can offer me some advice and I'll listen.
Yeah, but some of it is attacking. It's not constructive criticism, it's attacking.
Okay, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about constructive criticism.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I'm not talking about any type of attacks, but I'm just saying that you can date somebody, and if you can listen. I know in the past, I don't know about any of you, but I've dated people, and after everything was over and the emotions were removed from it, we've talked, and they have told me things that I was able to utilize. So like I said, I don't know about you, and I'm not talking about attacks. I'm talking about constructive criticism, because often what we see on these reality shows, people talk about, well, I don't have any regrets. I'm not changing a doggone thing. That's him. That's her. They're wrong. They're wrong. But if everybody is telling you the same thing over and over again in your dating life, how can everybody be wrong?
Yeah, that's valid. That's valid. But I was talking in terms of the show, not dating in general when I said attacking.
Okay. So anyway, they all have dinner. All the members, all the castmates have dinner, and Blake offers Sue Ann a good word. So Blake, he's soothing over Sue. Sue doesn't really seem to have a real connection with anybody but Blake, and Blake doesn't have any connection with anybody besides Sue. Does anybody else see something different than what I'm seeing? Because that's just me. But Kimberly, what did you see with the whole Blake and Sue Ann at the dinner?
I really don't see Blake having a connection with anyone, and then Sue seems that she's flip-flopping now. So I'm not really following the connection. I don't think Blake's connection is here. The Morgan thing sticks out in my head more than him and Susu. But I wish them the best, though, if they do have a connection.
Right. Oh, it's so great to see you. Welcome in, little Hurley. I've missed you. Yeah. Anybody else? Any offers on the Blake and Sue Ann connection?
Well, someone made the comment that that I'm not sure who it was, but that Blake is just using Sue Ann not to get voted off. I'm not sure who made that comment, but it was definitely made. So how many of y'all believe that Blake is just using Sue Ann as the advocate, as Jeffrey calls her, Sue Ann the advocate, or advocate Sue, or whatever she calls her, that he's just using that connection not to get voted off.
Ron, you want to take this one to start?
I mean, I can't speak on what that is. What I do like though is this scene kind of show Blake's genius some more because as you see when he
genius as in sociopath, but oh no, I'm sorry.
It's how actually smart and predicated he is because as you see when he was about to have a conversation with Jeffrey on the boat, whatever like that. And he knew she wasn't going to come in a good faith. He wasn't going to win. So we retreated out of there. Remember when he was on a double date and Marcia came at him and he looked over and he said, okay, I'm going to get double teed on this one because it's Marcia and Jeffrey, two women that don't like me. And he retreated out of the conversation. Said, I got nothing to say. Now, when it got brought up again here, he looked to his right and he got Sue there. So he said, oh, yeah, I want to talk about that now because he knows if Jeffrey goes too hard, he doesn't have to say a word. He can stick Sue on her, who's a trained lawyer.
a trained advocate.
She's an advocate, whatever you said. But in this show, like I said, a man can't go against a woman and win because it's going to come out as him being aggressive. And people get triggered by black male aggression towards any kind of woman. So he's never going to win that. You're never going to win that one-on-one. But if you got a woman that's going to speak for you, that's a whole different ball game now. And so he'll bring up stuff when Sue's around and stuff. If you want to talk about it then, we'll talk about it now. But it's like even with the Morgan situation, I'm not going to discuss this here. I'll wait till we're all together and then you can discuss that with Sue. And it's perfect.
Oh, okay. Good point. Anything you want to add, Jay, about Blake and Sue?
No, you know what? Watching them two together and then hearing everybody's depiction of Sue Ann, saying that she kind of looks down on people and she acts like she above people, and Blake's personality, they're a match. Their love language is like aligned with each other. They kind of speak the same little game. Like I say, with Tony and Morgan, they do the same thing. They play a dance that is for them. Yeah, and Blake and Sue Ann, they have their dance that is for them. Like she throws out little things and he seems to catch it, and vice versa, where she does the same thing with other people and they're just kind of like, I'm not really sure where you're going with this, So that I see them kind of working. I don't see it as a all out chemistry, but they have like this inner friendship bond with each other, at least for right now that I can see. I do feel like she does like him and then she likes that he gets her in that way.
Right. But, do you also see, but do you also feel like, it sounds like you're saying that you see them as intellectual equals also to some point?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, think about both of their fields. They're both in a field where you interrogate people and draw out questions for other information. Now she knows what to do with that. They'll line a question after it's theirs, like, oh, okay, so this happened. So now we PR it and make it look better, so it works, especially in this setting of this game for the both of them. Even if it's just alliance for now to get through, it works for the both of them. And that's how I look at them in the same regards I look at Morgan and Tony. They are doing the same dance. They just on a different opposite side of the spectrum with their dance.
Okay, good point. Right, I see your point. And I really hadn't thought about what you're saying, and that's a very good point, Jay. That the two of them, they do speak each other's love language. Clearly they do. And in terms of wit and intelligence, they may be more closely aligned than maybe some of the other castmates. So Andre tells us that he has a lot of catching up to do. Of course, we know that Andre was out with C-19, supposedly, allegedly, could be, but now he's back, right? And Jeffrey, I don't know, like this thing with Jeffrey, I'm really beginning to see her as a possible villain. Could be just me, but Jeffrey takes this opportunity to cry on his shoulders, and like most men, they're kind of sucked in by that show of femininity and vulnerability and all that gushy stuff. I think Jeffrey is really something else, and I don't know if they're trauma bonding, but it kind of almost feels like it. But on to Janique and Tony, they chat, And Tony does seem to be into Jonique. Not sure how deeply or if she's his top, but he does seem to be making or have a connection with her. And then Morgan, and I'm really kind of surprised by this. Morgan is moving like a woman with some insecurities, because Morgan comes along and she's talking. I'm sorry, this is Morgan and Anthony, my bad. She's talking to Anthony, and she tells Anthony, this is where we get the Queens Don't Chase line from, right? The title of the episode. She tells him that she's not really the one that's going to go after a man, and basically kind of saying like, are you going to step it up or not? What did you guys think about any of this?
I mean, that's
reality. Naturally, yeah, that's real. I mean, naturally, women want to be pursued. We're the hunters. The guys are the hunters. That's just the way nature has it. And it's good that when a guy comes after a woman, and no matter who's in the room, he particularly picks her out or comes after her. Women like that. Women get off on that on that kind of thing. But again, I think at this point, maybe other than Blake, people have at least 2 connections at this point, some stronger than others. So the question is, how do you navigate that now as you try to make your connection and survive to the end? I think Jeffrey at this point, she's coming across to me as sort of a manipulator, a little bit, and she's trying to tug at different things. Yeah, she's trying to tug at different things from different guys by introducing different things into the frame. She crying on Andre's shoulder. Later on, we'll get into she disclosed an illness, so forth. So I'm not sure what is it she's trying to. Yeah, I'm not sure what is she's trying to accomplish, but I'm seeing it as manipulation.
A little bit of manipulation. Ryan, you were going to say something about Jeffrey, or?
Well, yeah, I didn't like. They did this in my season too. When it's weird to me when a woman, talks about an illness or something like that this early in the dating scene, because it's like, I'm like, what are you trying to accomplish here? Because here you are talking to Mark Anthony. You were already throwing 3 kids at him, and now you're going to throw that you got to deal with the illness too, and this is supposed to attract him into trying to want to be with you a long time. Exactly. He's like, he's gonna play along with it, but he's like, yo, another thing, more.
Now you got 4 kids.
And that's Lord, what did you just say there?
So now he got 4 kids.
Oh Lord.
So, I'm like, tell me later, once we done got established a relationship going and something like that. Don't get Steve throwing stuff at me if you really want to be with me, or are you just trying to have your moment on the television. I don't know, but I don't think it's smart in the whole dating aspect in this to be just throwing off, okay, I got illness, I got this going on, I got this going on, I got this going on, because the man's going to be like, man, we're already in a stressful situation being on this show. This is overwhelming.
Can I be honest? Yes. About something? Listen.
Yes. What is
we
that?
all know. I'm looking at Jay's face, and her face is like, Mark Anthony do not want them. You like Mark Anthony do not want them kids. So I'm sitting here because I'm reading her face, and she right, because he don't want them kids. He definitely don't want to come into a situation where a woman is ill. If you with somebody already and you love them already and they become ill, that's different. But to go into it with that kind of 3 kids and a sick woman, no, he's not going to come in. Now, does he want to smash?
The way you said it, I'm sorry. I had to. Of course, he wants to smash. That's the whole point.
He want to smash.
I don't think he has anything else on his mind.
I want to be honest, because Jeffy's beautiful.
She is beautiful.
Yeah, Jeffy's a beautiful woman. She's a beautiful woman. He want to hit it.
Mercedes,
I mean, that's basically how he's acting.
And Alex, so is Mercedes, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but I think
laughing. Ryan, you laughing? You don't think she's beautiful?
She is, but this guy he's a pretty boy. He's not looking at her as he's not looking at her as she's his equal looks wise. He doesn't look at her that way.
You mean Mercedes, or do you mean Jeffrey?
Mercedes more. And women need to understand they can do whatever they want to do. But what I don't want is I don't want any of these women playing victim at the end with Mark Anthony bolts single or makes it to an end relationship and leaves in 2 weeks because you knew what you're getting yourself into. So I don't want to hear anybody going on the lives and being sentimental and throwing people under the bus like they did Dante and they did Jason and other people in this situation because you knew you were getting into.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, you know, and even Ravine, she's saying that, yeah, of course he would want to know sooner than later, you know, about this illness and this condition. I think that's true. But back to Alex's point, I agree with you, Alex. I don't think any young, unencumbered man or male that's has no children is going to want to get into a serious, deep relationship with some woman that has 3 children, not his. And she's got a medical condition, a health condition that is quite serious. I just don't think that nobody, you know,
it's a lot to take on.
It's a lot to take on. It's a lot.
And on top of that, you're going to be in a public relationship with the way our fans is.
Ooh, I hadn't even thought of that. Oh, wow. Wait a minute. So what does that mean? A public relation? Explain that.
That means you can't move the way you want to move. You guys got to actually be together. You got people eyeing you out, bloggers and stuff, waiting for you to post y'all pictures and move a certain way and trying to find out if y'all really together or not. And you got fans now engaged in your relationship. So it's almost like feels like you're dating other people because they're in your relationship every step and giving you messages saying, oh, I'm encouraged by y'all, black love. And so it's putting pressure, unnecessary pressure.
Oh, wow.
And if you're the man, it's even harder for you because you just got done with your little 15 minutes of fame. You got women in your DMs left and right.
You know what? Stay tuned. You too nasty. I gotta take that off my screen. You a mess. You a mess. What you said? Yeah. Oh wait a minute. Go back to the DM.
No, I said I wasn't nasty. I said if you're a man and you leaving this, you know, you're done with the show. You're supposed to be in this public relationship. You got your 15 minutes of fame coming. This is mostly a predominantly woman's show. So most women watch this show. So now you got a bunch of women in your DMs left and right. And you can't even explore any of that because now you're in this relationship. I think you remember Libby from DC?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She said it perfectly to me one day when we was talking and stuff. She said, Ron, she's like, you know, when I got off the show, being a woman, there were no guys hitting me up and things of that nature. And I'm actually was ready for a relationship. She said, I don't care how the show portrays any guy on here. His DMs is going to blow up as soon as he get off the show. And even if it's a bad version of him on the show, the woman's going to be like, I can fix him.
What?
Yeah. So
see, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So the DMs are going to blow up regardless if you're a man on is going down. So, and that's for all the guys. I ain't met a guy cast member I met yet that didn't say, hey, it was going down in the DMs when I got off the show.
Wow. Isn't that something? That's a mess. Wow.
And I mean, I've gotten videos, explicit, all kind of stuff. Just ridiculous.
What? Ridiculous. Oh my. Okay. Ridiculous. You know what? I am too old to be doing this because this stuff be blowing my mind. Are you guys serious? I'm so glad I grew up in a time where there wasn't social media, so I don't get caught up in this stuff. I'm so glad. Kimberly, what are your thoughts? You back there because I thought I heard you want to say something. Go ahead and speak up.
Well, Mark Anthony has been my favorite, but this segment with Jeffrey made me look at him a little different because he's not interested in dating her. He's already been clear on the children's stance, and then now he's trying to lean in and act like he's so caring and there for her. And when he, I guess, initiated the kiss, that really turned me off, and I was like, oh no, you know, why did he do that, knowing he's not really into this lady? I would be interested in knowing how old her children are, though, because sometimes that could make a difference. Maybe they're in their teens.
You're talking about, are you, when you say you're talking about Jeffrey? Let me go back to this. These are the ages of her kids. Mocha Mima does her research, so that they're right there. 14, 7,
a 2?
A 2-year-old, a toddler, girl, a toddler.
No. Yeah, I'm seeing Mark Anthony a little different. So yeah, I didn't like that part. So hopefully he'll just go home. I'm always sending everybody home. But I said that I'll give up Blake's spot and Mark Anthony can go home next.
So
you notice, Kimberly,
we skipping ahead to Mark Anthony because this was her and Andre at this point right now.
Right. Let me
Oh,
get
so
back.
sorry.
Okay.
That's okay. That's
No,
okay.
you guys were just talking and having conversation. That's why we got there. But that's why I was just making sure we totally skipping before I speak on what I feel.
Okay, right. So then as we move along, Morgan feels a way about Tony flirting with all the ladies. Now this is where again we're beginning, or at least I don't want to speak for anybody else. I'll say I'm beginning as a viewer to feel like Morgan, who is so physically gorgeous in my opinion, it's like her insecurities, like, what, girl, you're on a dating show, of course he's flirting with the women. And some guys, we know, men, period, I'm gonna make this generalization, men, heterosexual men, do flirt with women, right? And some men in particular are that's really all they know. That's them, that's who they are. And in my estimation, not knowing Tony, but just what I seen on the screen, that actually is who he is to flirt with all the women, whether he wants them or not. So I'm feeling some kind of way about her being upset about him flirting. Anybody have any comments on that? And we'll come back to the rest of that in a minute.
Can I say this real quick? Because
Yes.
everybody likes to say, surprising how physically appealing a person is, and they have insecurities. That's based off of that. When you go over time, when you're young and you're fine, you don't have insecurities because you're young, you dumb, you naive, you haven't been through anything yet. But as you go over time and you've been through stuff, and now you're single, still fine at this age, trying to figure out why you still fine at this age, that's an insecurity right now. You are in an insecure spot right now because, like, seriously, you've been going through some stuff, and those baggages that you done put on you from different relationships that you haven't relieved yourself of,
right?
Those things are still sitting in you, and that creates an insecurity as you go on. If you've been fine and cheated on, you're insecure. I'm sorry. I'm insecure. Myself have been insecure in relationships because you're looking for. We as women look for security in men.
We do, unfortunately.
Okay, no matter how confident we are or whatever, we are confident while we're single. But once we get in a relationship, there's a different kind of insecurity that comes up. It's not that I'm insecure, I don't think I'm fine, I got to be validated all the time. It's not that type of insecurity. I'm insecure because I'm not sure about you.
Hope everybody's listening. Hope everybody's listening, because you know what, you just touched my heart with that, because that does explain it, and that's exactly how I was feeling recently. So I do agree with you on that.
Well, Jay, can I ask you something, Jay? How would you feel that you say you've been insecure throughout your life? I'm pretty sure a lot of women have. Like you said, you look for it in men. If you're in love with a man, or you relationship with a man who is naturally flirtatious, or naturally women gravitate to him, but he's devoted to you, how do you deal with that? Because he can't help that.
You have to get well with yourself. Like, that's what that is. If you know this is that person, this is how you met them, and you love them for that. That's the thing. Did you love them for that part of you? Because that's what draws you to that person. I've been in this relationship. Actually, I'm in this relationship right now. You know what I'm saying? And I had to literally get past my past experience and say, I am with somebody different. Those all the experience that taught me that I can't trust this person. That's not this person. And I have to reassure, I have to tell this person sometimes, just on serious, like, hey, I need you to confirm me that we're secure. And so when we finally got into that space, because it was rough at the beginning, it wasn't easy because I had to get out of my own way. And I had to really pay attention to this person to get to learn them and not bring in my past experience to the relationship. And when we got past that stage, it was like, okay, I understand you are a people person. You're going to talk. You do you. It's part of your business. But I trust that you come home to me every night. I trust that you're not sitting here doing all of these things because this is your word that you gave me as a man. Now, I just got to go on blind faith at this point. He can be doing everything under the sun. But for me, I have to trust that, because if I sit in all day thinking about, worrying about what he's doing, I'm not going to get no peace. I'm not going to get no rest. I'm going to be stressed the hell out, and I'm not going to be happy in the relationship.
You couldn't even function worrying about that all day. You couldn't even function worrying about that all day.
No, that's serious. I couldn't. I really couldn't at the time when I was doing it. I couldn't function. I couldn't even get. I wouldn't even be able to be doing this right now because I'd be too busy trying to figure out what you're doing.
I didn't see any insecurities for Morgan in this situation.
So was she just talking then? Because I felt like she was. Or was she just playing to the camera?
Joy had it right with the song and the song and dance move.
It's their dance.
You don't have any context with a person to talk about the relationship, the future, how this is going to go and stuff like that. And you get flirting back and forth. But she likes Tony because she knows Tony's going to vote her number one, and he's very easy to control and very easy. He doesn't take a lot of effort for him to keep her spot. So she'll give him a few kisses, few of them little fake pecks. And make him feel like
with the fake pecs
to keep him on the show, keep her on the show and things of that nature. But it was no meat and potatoes in any of those conversations. It was like, ooh, it was game. Ooh, who you talking to? I better be your number one. Oh yeah, girl, you know how you can be my number. It was just back and forth like that.
Right.
Yeah.
They kind of doing the Sue and Blake.
Basically, is what they're doing. Yeah.
Now I'm not gonna lie, Ron. I agree with you, but there is a bit of insecurity. There's still some. Even I can play that dance with you. I can present as confident, but me making those comments that's still my insecure side. Even though I'm joking it up, my joke is for real.
Nothing else to talk about.
No, but we should have a whole. We're just meeting. We should have a whole lot to talk about. I don't care. Like I don't care.
You think she sees the future in Tony?
I could find thousands of things to talk to you about. But worrying about these other people and your other connections shouldn't be none of my concern. Like seriously, I would not be concerned because I know what I signed up for. If I signed up for a show to be dating other people, by all means, enjoy your dates with other people because that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to tell you what you need to be doing with all this stuff like that. You're not mine.
You're not going to tell a man like Tony that because Tony got an ego. You saw Tony got an ego. With every second he was like, oh, them girls can't compare to me. I know he ain't trying to get on Morgan. He's going to be disappointed because I'm the man. No, he's playing. He got an ego. So she's just playing to his ego. She's not going to tell him, go ahead.
That's why I said I partially agree with you on some of it, but some of it is her truth. Some of it is like, okay, but if we go this route, please believe you're not going to be playing with me.
Yeah.
Now she may laugh it off later on and all that little cute laugh and stuff. Because I did see that too when I first watched it. I was like, oh, she's playing into his ego and all this stuff. Because the laugh and it was almost like a role play when she gave that laugh. Because when she looked at him, it was like, oh, this is what you like, huh?
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
I saw that.
Yeah, but I was at the same time. I was like, okay, well, your truth. Sometimes when we act, and sometimes the character is true to life. So,
like I said, she's even picky. If you ain't mad at a serious relationship about 38, you look like that. You either picky, too picky, or you cray cray. And in both of those cases are bad for Tony because him at he's short. Man, when he was standing next to Jonique, she was taller than him. He might be 5'7".
You remember Lynn Winfield in Thin Line Between Love and Hate, how she came off at first at the beginning?
Yeah.
This is how that was coming. It was just like, okay, we fun playing and stuff, but yeah, she cute. And then about 5 months in, okay, that little B better not come up over here. Why she over here? What you doing with her? Like,
oh yeah, she changed completely. You're right in that movie, and that to me was a good example of how people, because I've dated on the flip side, I've dated men that were like that. They were like, oh, I don't care that you do this for work. I don't care that you travel with the auto show. I don't care you've been in the centerfold of Jet magazine. I don't care. I'm okay with it. And then let the attention start coming. Yeah, you begin to see a different man. I've seen that.
I know for a fact that Morgan ain't the one to play with. And I'll just leave it at that. I ain't giving up.
Okay. Well, we're going to continue. Okay, we're going to continue on. We're going to let Ryan have the last word on that part of it, and we're going to continue on. So, what did you guys think about Dre checking Mercedes for not calling him while he was gone? I was just kind of gobsmacked that he has so much words for her, and then ultimately she told him that out of sight, out of mind. Did you guys? What were your thoughts about that, Kimberly? Let's start. She's clapping.
Yeah, that was funny. Out of sight, out of mind. I'm glad he brought it to our attention because I feel that if she really was interested in him, she should have continued the conversation and, at least check on the man if he's dealing with whatever he was dealing with. So for her not to says a lot, it speaks volumes, and hopefully he'll move on, leave her be. But it didn't look good, in my opinion. I would have checked on him. Just because I cared about the connection and wanted to see if there was anything else there.
Right. Okay. I mean, I didn't have a problem. I agree with you. I think that if you care about a person, even just as a friend, like a friend tells me they have C19,
Right.
like it's taken C19 is taking a lot of people off this earth in the last 3 years or so. So I mean, I think she could have checked on him, but what I almost kind of picked up on, and maybe I'm just ultra sensitive about this. I didn't like the fact that he took her and he had his hands on both her bare shoulders. I'm like, why does it take that for you to talk to her about that? Why does it require you to put your hands on her shoulder? Maybe she's okay with it, but I was just a little bit triggered. So anybody else notice that? Jay, what did you notice?
Oh, I didn't even see that part, but I was just like, bro, if she checked on you, she called you, I think probably one time. I'm sure she didn't just never
Yeah.
call you or whatever and stuff. I'm not about to be calling you every single day when I got
Hello?
work, life, all these other things going on. And I'm trying to get to know somebody else. If you're not there, I'm like, her, out of sight, out of mind. We're not building nothing right now. If you ain't called me back, okay, like you sick. You too sick for me right now. You tired. You know what I'm saying? So when you get around to, I'm sorry, Ryan. Some of us is just like real going on about life like that. And if you're not on my top priority, you just not on my top priority. And that's how I see it. He's not on her top.
Yeah, but you got to say, but this is a very difficult scene, and honestly, both of them are correct because I've been in both of these situations on the show. And what you guys are not seeing is he said they had a connection. Okay. Y'all don't understand, especially at first, what these women be saying to us on the other end because they want your vote. So they're talking about you, my husband. We gonna be this. We gonna be doing. So some people buy into it, some people don't. So obviously he was buying into a little bit, like, okay, this might be something real here. And she doesn't check in on him. Now, basically what he was saying was, I'm done now because it doesn't take a lot for a guy. God doesn't need a lot to be done with you there. If he says, I'm not going to come back here and act like I'm not bothered by it and start dating you and go to the end with you, and then knowing that now I'm about to be in a public relationship with a woman who wouldn't even check on me when I was sick. We're not doing it. We're ending this right here. And that's basically what he was saying. He was just getting his point out from there. Now, on her defense, like I said, when Ida, me and her had a connection, she was the first girl eliminated. She went to me and said, hey, just because I'm not on the show, we can't talk and get to know each other and date anymore. And she was 100% right. It shouldn't be no reason why, just because she's not on the cameras are not rolling, I can't give her the time of day. But you understand how extremely busy we are. I got to work full time. I got to film. I got to make connections. I can't date her out in public because she has to get COVID tested every second because she's not on the show no more. So she's going to get everyday COVID tests. So I'm trying to explain this to her, and she's not getting it. But I understand why she's not getting it, because if I am ready to love, it shouldn't just be on the camera. You know what I mean? It ain't ready to be on TV. I should be open to anybody who I've met. So I understand how she's too busy to it just don't say out of mind, out of sight. Talk to the man. Say, you know what I mean? This is a very stressful, procedure. It's so busy. Sometimes I forget what's going on here and there. Let's try to give another chance. Whatever you
know how long y'all conversations be going. And if he kept pressuring her about it, she probably would just, because she gave me like, I'm fed up with this conversation. And that's what we about to end it with this. That's what that was.
And whatever happened to good old fashioned honesty? I don't care. It is what it is. Life goes on. You wasn't here.
Wait. That's what she said. She said that's basically what does out of sight, out of mind mean? It means that if you're not in my sight, I don't care anymore.
Yeah. So I mean, what's the problem with good old fashioned honesty? It's the same problem we had with Blake in episode 1. He was honest. I don't want any more kids. I'm focusing on my retirement. Blah blah blah. That good old fashioned honesty it gets you a long way. Okay, that's all she was being, was honest.
She was, but if you're Andre and you call that being fake, you have every right to do that, because you're like, okay, it has to be on camera. Is that what we're doing here? Like, we got a connection, but we can't. If I'm not here on camera with you, we can't explore it.
I know, but it's for me, it's a lot of the energy that a lot of people give. And it's not just him on this cast. It's a few other people that give this energy when people just not on them. It's, well, I'm done. It's like, okay, be done. Just walk away. Like, why you got to do all that extra or whatever? That's, for me, is playing for the camera. Now you're showing out for the camera.
And you know what it is, Jay? It's like people want honesty when it's convenient for them. Either they want honesty or they don't. You can't want it when it's convenient for you, just when it makes you feel good. take the honesty however you can get it. Appreciate the fact that it's honest.
Yeah, if he was done because of that situation, he should have told her.
Alex.
He should have told her what she did. I was in a situation where we had the big bad snowstorm and with ice freeze in Houston during our filming. I had no power. I had no power, no water, anything. 6 days.
Wow.
My number one at the time was Alexis. We were kids, everything. Valentine's Day, did everything. She didn't check on me one time.
You're kidding. Come on now, because she lives in the same city, right?
Yeah. She didn't check on me one time. So I was mad. I was done. Forget that elimination and everything. All that was all fluff. I was already done. How dare? You know what I mean? Like you.
Right. I mean, like she's in the same town as you, so she realizes, and possibly even her. But what if her power was off and she couldn't contact you?
She said no. She could have. She just it was more out of might, out of sight. We're not filming that week, so therefore I don't feel I need to check on you.
I see it. This is my last thought on it. Like I'm like in between. I know where he coming from, and I get it. You didn't check on me, so I'm done. And that's to me, that's where it need to stop. It's just the extra emotion that he had behind it that was just like a little irritating to me, because it was just coming out with venom. Like, she never checked on me, so this, that, and the third. And Mark Anthony, I appreciate him in that moment. Was like, well, I'm sorry for you, bro, because she checked on me, because that brought it back.
Dang.
But my thing is like, I get where you coming from, Ron. Like, we want to be checked on or whatnot, but sometimes I do this even with my friends. If you like, I have a friend right now that is going through her sickle cell crisis right now. So sometimes in my head, it's like, oh, I need to check on you. And if I don't stop and do it right there, I'll start doing 50 other things, and then I'll forget, and then a whole week will go by, and it's like, oh shoot, I need to check on her, and it's like time just will, get past us like that, and it slip out. And that's when you say out of sight, out of mind, that's what I kind of think about. It's like, I have so many other things going on, and I'm not intentionally trying to ignore you. It was just one of those things that I've been busy and I just didn't pick up the phone. Some people might have their phone on, let me put this message in and I'll put it on timer so it can send you a message on a daily basis to make you feel like.
Sounds like something a guy would do.
Oh yeah, well, some of us women would do it too. You know what I'm saying, Jeffrey?
Okay.
Jeffrey,
like, good morning, gorgeous.
No, but I'm saying in Jeffrey's case, she's he making it seem like, Jeffrey, oh, she reached out to me every single day. She talked to me every day, but then she gave me a different vibe when he came back. Like, oh, I was thinking about him every day, but I got these two other connections and stuff. So she didn't give me that Cynthia vibe. Cynthia was like, yes, bring him back, yay, but you've been talking about him every day.
You got to move on with your connections. I get it, but you're asking these men to do a lot at the end of this process. You want him to take on 3 kids. You want him to be in a public relationship. Let me give you every man wants to leave this show single. They don't want to be in a relationship, or else they really want to be in one. Or else it's really true love, or else she really checked on her. She really did everything right. If not, if you a guy, you like, let me make it to the end and just leave on good terms.
That's what I'm saying. Like, a person with 3 kids, you got Crohn's disease, you got this going on, you got Mark Anthony in the background, you got Blue in the background, but you still got time to check on Dre.
Right. That's the point.
Okay. I mean, I'm never gonna knock Sister's player vibe, because she got strong player vibes. Okay. Jeffrey got strong player vibes, if y'all don't know. But,
yeah. Oh yeah. Like I said, I'm starting to really see the real her now. It's coming in sight very clearly that she likes to manipulate things, And I gotta give her kudos for having that feminine, using that feminine mystique, because I feel like she's using it and is not necessarily who she actually is, if that makes sense.
I hope she get a baby daddy out of it. A daddy, a stepfather.
Well, you know what? I will leave that alone, because maybe Blake will get a baby mama out of it. Well, I mean a wife. I'm sorry, because he already got 2 or 3 of those. So
you got the baby mama.
We're not gonna throw stones at her and then let Blake slide off either.
Okay. Why we gotta bring Blake into anything? Why we just can't stay with one person all the time? You know what I'm saying? Why we?
Jay, I feel you, but. here I am, all broken, and I am.
I agree with her.
In the words of Morgan, it's giving me
You
who
can
hurts
agree.
you.
Hey, listen, hey Ryan, you can agree. I still can cut your mic off though.
No, I agree with you on this.
No, you're fine.
No woman wants a guy with 3 baby mamas. So Blake he get his heat on that too.
He got his 3 kids too.
Yeah,
what the heck? I mean, this double standard.
It ain't double standard. They both got baggage. Let's put it that way.
Well, they both got kids. I don't know if I want to call children. I don't know if I want to call these children baggage. But if you want to call them baggage, I do understand what you're saying.
You're gonna be dealing with the kids, but you're gonna be dealing with also multiple baby mothers, baby fathers, past relationships, things of that nature. So that's why I say baggage, not with the kids.
Okay.
Well, Aubrey, you better be careful. Aubrey, be careful.
All right, I'm moving
be careful,
on.
Aubrey.
What am I being careful about? Tommy announces that two people. Tommy announces it because we still got a lot to get through. Okay, Tommy announces that 2 people, 1 male, 1 female, must go soon. The top connections when they get to the men's lounge. The top connections for the men include Jeffrey for being feminine. Wink, wink. Mercedes is also in the bunch, and in the ladies' lounge, Mark Anthony seems to be tops for the ladies. And then I'm wondering, is Blake using Sue for votes only? I'm not sure. The other men don't seem to be in the Sue, so Sue gets called to the chopping block, right? The women, we see them, decide who's going to go. The women decide to use their lifeline for Mark Anthony. Mark Anthony gets a pass, and Jonique, but she's sent home because the guys don't use their lifeline. And this is when I think this is really interesting right here. Tommy announces all of a sudden that the lifeline is no longer available, that was the last week to use the lifeline.
That shocked me. He didn't say that before. That came out.
I know, right?
Tommy likes curves.
That was evil. That was evil.
That was evil. That was diabolical. As
diabolical.
That was diabolical.
I would have been mad at the cast member on that.
Listen. They should have used it.
They should have used it, right? But who knows? But I mean, because if I were them, I would do the same thing. I'm thinking that we really got more connections, and let me wait until my connection is firm in the last few weeks. Then I'll use it. But nobody knew that was the last week to use it.
Because then you would have had people like Tony trying to use it to save nobody. Because it's like, what are you doing? Like,
or DeMario to save, which I love.
They should have saved her for him. Then
DeMario gone.
He got wasted anyway.
Right.
It did. It got wasted. Kimberly, what were your thoughts about the lifeline situation and all that?
Yeah, true Tommy fashion curveballs. But would they really want it to save Johnny, even if they knew? I don't think they would have saved her, because who does she really connect with? I think Morgan said she had connections, but I didn't. Who was she connecting with?
Well, Tony seemed to be interested in her. That's just his flirt. That's just his flirt, Jay. Okay, it's all flirt.
First of all, Tony not interested in Jonique, and it's not because she's not beautiful, she's not smart or anything. It's because she's too damn smart. She knows what she wants. She see through a lot of them men's BS. Okay, I'm sorry, Jonique
definitely saw through Mark Anthony's BS.
Yeah, she's not there for a lot of the games or whatnot. And like she said, she wasn't no hard feelings. She left with grace. Her man is not there.
Very graceful
love, but she just none of these men here, and she knows that because she's been intentional through this whole process since we've seen her. So I'm not mad that she went home, because this place not for her. She got the exposure that she needed so that her man can creep up in them DMs real quick, and she gonna find her man seriously, because she's seriously intentional on finding one, because how she addressed everything she wanted and how she addressed the men let me know that she's serious.
Yeah, she gave homegirl vibes for the men. I think that's what they. Because her and Lyndon was over there.
Wait a minute.
Laughing,
Okay,
homegirl up together, and having a nice time.
Alex, can you hear me? Who gave homegirl vibes? Who was that? Alex?
Jonique gave homegirl vibes. I mean, her and Lyndon was over there cracking jokes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm just thinking about what you're saying. I'm just thinking about what you're saying. I don't see that, because she joked with one guy. That's the guy that she feels like he's just a homie.
That's
Yeah,
not
but
home.
that's
She
that's
didn't
what I
give
came
home real
across.
vibes. She gave intentional vibes, which none of these men is being for real and intentional. And they don't, and for real, it's not that they not being for real intentional. They just don't see her intentionally as a partner. And so everybody's intentions is not aligning. So
And,
that's a
and
nice way
let's
to say
just
it.
let's discuss the elephant in the room. Bigger,
What's-
thicker women don't always do well in this show, man. Let's just be honest. I've been in a late men's lounge where they're telling the truth, and some of the comments they made towards bigger women was just disgusting. I was like, what the heck's going on? Like, yeah.
No, and that's true. I mean, they switched it up, and somebody else, I think it was Miss Misha, she said it herself. She was like, they must be listening to us instead of putting her in the beginning so she'd be voted off early. They brought her in later so she can continue on, but she's still gonna be gone. So it's
these men like they for some reason the men they pick on this show like more slender type of women. I've seen it every
majority. I say majority. Some of y'all do like y'all.
You know, we like I like voluptuous.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen them.
You like the fuller girls, Ron? Tell me something. Let me know.
Hey, she could keep the small waist. I'll take ass and tits.
Okay, all right. I gotta get that Venmo up. I gotta get that Venmo up. Wait a minute. I'm probably a few minutes late, but D asked a question earlier. She wanted to know, as you were mentioning about Alexis checking on you, well, did you check on Alexis?
Oh yeah, everybody knows my personality is I want to be the hero, so I'm checking. I'm willing to do. I'm thinking at this stage we're starting to partner. Like, what does the partnership look like? We're almost to the end, and after I saw there was no partnership going on, I said, okay, what is this really? And I was even on an interview before I knew what was going on and stuff like that, and I was sincere in my interview. I said, yo, something's wrong. Like, this girl has not checked on me yet. I don't know what's going on. We got to have a conversation, but right now I'm totally turned off. Like,
but that's another difference too between y'all's situation and Mercedes and Dre's is theirs is more in the beginning.
It is.
Yeah, and you guys were more later on. So I can definitely feel you on yours more so than I can feel Dre on his situation, because it's like we've already got some stuff established. We've been talking, and all of a sudden you ghost me. Yeah, that's a problem, especially once I know your pattern. But
and I think Drake was just basically like telling her, hey, we can't go your way, go my way. Let me go my way, but we're not going to act like we, because it's awkward if she thinks that, okay, we still cool and he's not offended by that and he's holding that in. You got that awkward energy between each other. He was just setting the record straight or saying, hey, I didn't like that. I can't go to the end with you feeling this way. You're not the one for me. So let's just get it out and go. You go your way, I go my way.
Wow. Okay, so we talked about Tommy getting rid of the lifeline. That's gone. That was another curveball in and of itself. But Janique, as we said, she did make a beautiful, graceful exit, because what she said was, it's not that I'm not ready to love. It's just that the guy who's ready to love me isn't here. And I love that. She left with class and grace. So now now
her DMs are lit. Her DMs are lit now.
DMs are lit, as Ravine, our AT member Ravine says. I agree. Her DMs are dead, because she was beautiful. I'm sorry, she was just simply this. I'm going to say this over and over again until I get over it, because this season of Ready to Love Miami, this has got to be collectively the most beautiful cast of women I have seen on Ready to Love. They're all gorgeous, okay? But we move on to the date with Anthony and Sue. And Anthony allows Sue Ann to keep her shoes on. And, we all saw what the mat said. I'm not going to repeat that about take your shoes off, so-and-so. And he gives her a beautiful bouquet of roses. They go on to make a Caesar salad, which I was a little concerned. I'm like, well, maybe she just eats salad, because a lot of people say, well, why wasn't it something more fancy?
Ain't no time to cook no meals.
Yeah, right. So I don't know. Who knows? I don't know if Sue Ann
production don't let them eat.
Huh?
Production don't let them eat.
They ain't gonna let them eat anyway.
Right. So they, I didn't have a problem with it, but I did kind of wonder, like, I love a nice filet mignon myself, but you can have the salad on the side, but whatever. He did give her roses, so shout out to Samson with the gifts. The roses are beautiful, and they were no cheap roses either. I could tell. And then we also see that Jeffrey is on a date with Mike Mark Anthony, and this is where the scene where she tells him about her condition, that she has this condition. It's an autoimmune condition. It's very serious. And how his response to it is really interesting, because we see him in the confessional. First of all, he has no clue to what Crohn's disease is. I think a lot of people, unless you have it or someone close to you has it. I didn't really know a lot about it, but I knew just a very vague things about it. But I think the idea that she's going to bring 3 kids into a relationship and a possibly crippling diagnosis is too much. It's too much. Am I wrong, guys? What did you see?
Well, it's definitely too much for Mark Anthony. He's not having none of that, But yeah, Crohn's disease, like she said, a lot of fatigue, stomach pains, a lot of aches and pains, things of that nature. So listen, so how many times is she gonna be laying in bed hemmed up with this thing with 3 kids running around for somebody else to look after? I mean, you got to take all that into account. And then, health insurance and benefits, how expensive is it to care for that? So it's a lot. It's a lot. So what she's looking for, I don't think is here on this show, honestly, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay. In terms of a protector, provider for her and those 3 children, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Blue might do it.
What about Blue? Yeah,
Blue might do it. But he went down to number 3 on our list.
I think the reason, I think it's sad that when and we see it on the shows as in real life, that sometimes the women that say they want a good man, when a good man is standing right smack dab in front of them, they push him out the way and in front of the bus to run to the thug that's way behind them, like, not even checking for him either at that. But
that's a great point, because we see that. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Kimberly. What were you saying? Kimberly?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I said that's a great point, because we see that clearly here. I won't repeat what I said earlier when I jumped to this topic, but Blue would be a better fit for her. And I believe he's really interested in her. It doesn't seem like it goes the opposite way, because I don't think that she mentioned him first. She went Mark Anthony, Andre, and then Blue when she was talking about her connections, but he would really be the better fit. And I would think Mark Anthony may want a child. So would she be able to handle a 4th child with the fatigue and, age? It's just, she's running to the wrong one.
Now, listen, I'm glad you went there, Kimberly, because that's
a great point.
Why she brought up this to Mark Anthony and not to anybody else, especially Dre, who she's been talking to every single day.
Right.
This was a nice way of her saying, "Don't look for no babies from me." Okay. That's how I looked at it. It was like a nice way of saying, especially he not totally knowing what it is, so I can manipulate you and tell you whatever and stuff. But it does, when I researched it, it does affect pregnancy and carrying the baby. So naturally, she might have miscarriage issues if she has this. Okay. I'm not gonna take away she don't, but if she has this, she might have miscarrying issues. So I'm not going to keep stressing myself. And then she's like, I don't want to be stressed. I'm going to stay away from stress. You see how I'm handling it? All that puts stress on your body. So if I sit there and tell you, we get together and I tell you one time, oh, I was pregnant, but I had a miscarriage or whatever, I'm now playing into your emotions later on. I'm setting the stage already up. So I set the stage. Yeah, you got to set it up. She's setting it up early. And so later on down the road, if it doesn't happen, she was like, well, we tried and it is what it is. So
we had 2 women on our season with what's they call intro deep, mostly whatever.
I know what you're saying, but I can't.
Yeah. What is and they let us know. They let the men know pretty early.
Okay.
They did.
Okay, so
but they had a condition. Let's just say they had a condition for sake of.
Yeah, where it's gonna be harder to have kids. You can see Amber. She told us, I gotta have one right away because I'm ready to to get this out of the way. You know what I mean? Because I'm in pain in this with the condition and things of that nature. So we understood and was grateful for the information.
Right.
But let's talk about your boy Anthony, man. that date, man. His level of masculinity is about the most non-existent I've seen of any contestant so far on this.
He missed all the signs she was trying to give him. He missed every one.
We're talking about Anthony now,
Anthony.
not Mark Anthony, right?
Yeah.
No,
Anthony.
So
Yeah.
you walk in the house
Mhm.
and you got that mat. There ain't a masculine man I know that. Read that mat in your own words, and you're gonna be.
It sounds
starts off with-
kind of zesty, doesn't it?
You ain't gonna bring
Yes.
the homies over and they're looking at that mat and y'all about to watch the game and drink some beers and he a little hood and he look down and you can say, what you call me? You don't buy that mat as a masculine man. And then you go to the house. The house was clean. Like I had a
It
date
was
in my house.
spotless. I was hating on it.
I ain't never seen a house that spotless and organized.
Oh my God, I
And
hate
then he's with Sue, just basically telling him like, "Come on, get raw, grab me, eat me," and he's like, "It ain't
Right, you ain't right.
Fixing her hair, huh?
aggression to it." And then you got to remember, though his nurse practitioner, the guy was a nurse for a while, working with 90% women.
Yeah.
I mean-
I see. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, so all this stuff's coming together is non-aggression towards the women, and it just says like lack of masculinity is all through this guy.
Yeah.
Because she kept giving him opportunities to shoot his shot, secure his
Shoot his
position
shot.
with her, everything like that. He just would not do it.
And all the women are saying the same thing. So
All of them, yeah.
All
So
of 'em.
now it's beginning to look a little interesting for him, isn't it?
yeah.
I'm not gonna
Mark
say a
Anthony had
word.
no problem.
I'm not
Mark
gonna
Anthony
say a
said,
word.
Mark Anthony said, I
All
don't
I-
care. I think you a 5. I'm about to jump on here and get on in.
All I can say is that every season, I say this at the beginning of every season of Ready to Love, Married at First Sight, and a few other shows, it seems like there's always some castmates that I'm not just sure that they should be on the show, that maybe they're looking for something else. I don't know if that's him or not. I really don't. I was trying to give him, because he's a nurse practitioner and I know what that is. So I was really rooting for him, but I don't know. Maybe he's just not assertive like that. You guys, is that what it is?
No,
Yeah, that's why
maybe
you
some
should wear
DL
masculinity.
brothers on there.
Well,
Some DL
you know,
brothers.
well, sometimes, but I get shot down whenever I try to bring up that, and not saying him, not saying Anthony, but I think that in real
They get
life,
casted. They get casted. Don't worry.
right. In real life, and here's the thing: in real life, I think we as women, and particularly Black women, have to be really cognizant that they exist. They're out there, these down low brothers, and that it's a real health threat. It's a real health threat because they're not telling you what their history is, and you're opening yourself up to disease and more and worse. So it's just, just on a serious note, for real.
Wait,
But,
what's worse than disease in this case? Because he can't make a baby with another. Let me shut up.
Woo! I didn't say it, guys. I didn't say it. Uh-oh.
Jay, you a mess, Jay. You a mess.
I'm just trying to figure out what's worse than disease in this case. I don't know.
Goodness
I don't
gracious.
know either. But we'll continue along. We'll continue. We'll struggle till the end. The funny thing about it, the interesting thing about it, true to character, Advocate Sue says that her date with Anthony, because they did end up dancing, and even that didn't look like there was a lot of chemistry, in my opinion. But she said their date ended on a high note. So now it sounds like she's now got 2 guys to vote for her.
He also said he had a little thug in him from his mat, but okay.
No. Yeah, she did also. Good point, Jay. Good catch. Good catch. That mat was not giving that thug. It was giving zesty and sassy.
Yeah, exactly.
Lord have mercy. You can't make this stuff up. Moving back over, because they're kind of playing these alongside each other, these dates. Jeffrey and Mark Anthony at the end, after she shared all this about her illness, he decides to give her a kiss. And then Mark Anthony moves on to his date with Mercedes, where he seems to be really more relaxed and more himself with her. If anybody noticed that he had his t-shirt on rather than try to dress up and wear the button-down shirt, he just seemed more youthful and himself with Mercedes. They talked about their love of flying. He's taking flight lessons and he wants to get his pilot's license, and they kiss. So now here's the question to you, to the panelists, and to you guys out here in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you feel like the kiss with Mark Anthony and Jeffrey was the most steamiest, passionate, or put a 2 in the chat if you feel like Mark Anthony and Mercedes kiss was hotter. Panelists, tell me what you think.
And Mark Anthony just running around right now kissing everybody because he was on the chopping block.
Be better. He had more practice.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean. Right now he's the kissing bandit. You know,
he's the kissing bandit. Oh Lord,
he was on the chopping block, so now you know there's a sense of urgency with him now. He was on the chopping block. For real.
Who's next? No, okay. Can I say something real quick? Because Aubrey, you said something about the chemistry that he's more relaxed and more youthful with Mercedes. Yet when he's dressed up with Jeffrey, but everybody wants to swear up and down he's older than Jeffrey.
Yeah. No, he's not.
And, say that again.
Everybody wants to swear up and down that he's older than Jeffrey because of the age they gave her. Remember, Phil was 52 years old, y'all. Okay?
Oh, I remember that. Right. I remember that. I remember that.
He just celebrated his 54th just recently, okay?
Just recently. Right.
So I'm just saying, they lie about these ages, and if he has to dress himself up to be with her, that's like I'm presenting myself to be older to present for somebody that's more established. And stuff that doesn't give me I can be youthful and I can be myself with you because myself is more childish and youthful. I don't know. That's just a side note, but okay. I'm just thinking.
You gotta look like you can take care of them kids. Shoot, he's doing the right thing. I would have done more the blazer too.
He better look like he can creep through the back door because that's all he gonna be doing. Because
thank you. We don't really see any real future with.
I don't think she see a real future with him because to me, if she did, she wouldn't be leading with the sexual energy for either Dre or him because that's why she dismissed Blue because for Blue is not that for her. That's just security and safety. But she jumps on Dre, she jumps on Mark Anthony. That's more of aesthetics.
And think about this. You know, Mark Anthony's a young man, very, very nice looking guy. I mean, he's really a good looking guy, right? So he's gonna be on her 24/7 trying to get him some. And if she's gonna be fatigued and tired and got stomach pains, whatever, he's not going to deal with that. You know what I mean? He want to do his thing.
Hey, listen though, I had thought about another thing because I be in my dark heart sometimes, and when she says she, you know, she got this Crohn's disease, that could be a way for her to maneuver her plan. Like, oh, today I'm not feeling well because she's going on a date with somebody else. See, Mama got her whole game set up. You know, I'm kind of liking Jeffrey's on the player tip, okay? Because
she playing a game right there right alongside the men. Exactly.
Right there with Mark Anthony.
I got too many things that I can tell you. I can't see you today because I'm gonna be with this other man and hope you don't catch me in the streets. But you know, like, she said.
Player.
She is definitely player. Lord have mercy. Where are my notes at here? So yeah, that was the thing going on with them. They ended on a high note. Mercedes. The guys put a lot of 2s in the chat, so it looks like the 2s won. I don't know if I saw any 1s at all. Everybody thought that the kiss with Mark Anthony and Mercedes was much more passionate. And I think just looking at some pictures I saw from other fellow content creators, what I observed was that there was some tongue involved with the kiss with Mercedes, but not necessarily with the kiss with Jeffrey. So
why is Mercedes kiss always coming second to Jeffrey's on the boat?
Oh no. I asked the chat to put the number.
No, part. I was just asking the general question of why.
Because you say the best for last, baby.
Mercedes always getting the sloppy seconds.
You save the best for last, baby. You know what I'm saying? You get, like you said, you get better with time. So you get that first one, that little one out the way.
Or you get Jeffrey's leftovers.
It's the same way. It's the same way up in, you know, polygamous relationships. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna go to the best.
Oh no, we're not going to polygamous.
Oh dang.
By the way, Jay, in case you're interested, next month, I think it's TLC is going to be doing sister husbands. So
I don't know if I can be interested in that.
Yes, girl, let's cover it. Let's do this thing, girl.
I'll see how the first episode goes.
Okay, watch it. Watch it
I
because I
can't
would
see
love
sharing
to work with you.
my vagina with a whole bunch of people, so I just don't.
But I'm just saying they're doing it. We're not the ones. But what's interesting, they actually have at least two, because I think there's 5 couples on, or not couples, groupings. Okay, groupings of people, but at least 2 of the groupings are African Americans and mixed. One is mixed, So it's gonna be a riot. It's gonna be a real sugar honey iced tea show. Okay, that's what it's gonna
Yeah,
be.
see, listen to Jay. Jay going right to the sex part of it. This is about building a family, a community, taking care of one another, love
I
in
mean,
one
I get
house,
the
under one
understanding
roof.
of it. I mean,
You
I
couldn't
get,
take it. You couldn't take it. So I know you're not going to be
I
reporting
get
on
it
it
in the
being the
biblical
panel,
sense
Alex.
of men having concubines, but I do not understand when
Women
women want to
having
have
male
this.
hey, if they can do
Hey,
it, hey,
listen,
knock yourselves
you
out.
you want to ask me, Aubrey, would I do that? I ain't doing a damn thing. I ain't doing it.
You ain't doing it?
Nope.
You're a mess. You're a
Really?
mess.
I mean,
Oh,
it did look
goodness.
exciting on Savages though, because when I watched that movie, I was like, okay, I see how it could be possible.
I mean, the thing of it is, as long as she's in control. But I mean, I guess we're losing focus here. Okay, so
I
back
do
to
want
the
I do
show.
want to ask Kimberly. I do want to ask Kimberly about Mark Anthony for a second because that was her
Oh yeah,
boy. You know,
Oh, that's right.
Kimberly, what do you think about Mark Anthony kissing or doing all this kissing? Now, do you wish it was you or does it turn you off?
She's a
No,
whole
after the
engaged
way
woman.
right. But no, after the way he's leading on Jeffrey, that just turned me off now because he knows he's not interested in her from the children. And then now this sickness. So no, but that kiss with Mercedes was nice. But she can have him. She can have him.
You done with
Wait a
him
minute.
for
Are you
real?
done with him now? You done with him because he kissed a woman
Yes.
or 2 women?
I'm done with him because he's leading Jeffrey on like he's interested just to save a spot. I think that's all he's doing. He's playing the game just to
Yeah.
stay in.
But do you think that he has any real serious interest in anybody for a serious relationship? Because I don't see that in him. The way he moves, I see him as, young guy. He's just out here having fun.
He's the eye candy. He ain't going nowhere. He's gonna be to the end. That's
Oh
already.
wow.
I'm not doubting that. Like your boy Dimples will probably be there to the end, but that don't mean he's supposed to be, but whatever. But we're gonna wrap it up because but this is where we gotta really chop this up right here. Okay, so lastly, Morgan and Blake meet up to chat and they greet each other, cordially enough with a little brief hug. Morgan says that Blake has said some unkind things to her. Blake says that he's not sure what she's talking about because she explained that more. And I just got to drop this in here right here. To me, I felt like that was a little bit of gaslighting, but okay. Blake says also that he wasn't trying to hurt her. She says that he didn't hurt her, that he attacked her. But in that moment, as a viewer, I felt like she's just talking. She's just, playing semantic games about hurt, not hurt, because she was hurt. And this is where I add this part. I felt like the question about children and her wanting a child at any cost. I know he said that in the men's lounge, not directly to her, but there have been at the initial mixer, he had said a lot of things about, kids from a broken home, they're no good, blah blah blah, yet he has 3 different kids all around their place. So I don't know what he thinks about his own children, but Blake is a little nice nasty, as my mother would say, bless her heart, rest in peace. Blake comes across to me as a little nice nasty, a little bit of narcissistic tendencies, but maybe that's just what I'm seeing, and maybe I'm also a little triggered by Blake. But I will say this, and then I'm gonna let you guys jump in. I just really felt like Morgan really didn't. She did not help the situation. Rather than express herself and how she felt, what he actually did, and why she felt the way she felt, I felt like she did attack him. I have to be honest and fair. She did attack him, and then she kind of went off the rails at the very end when he told her, "Well, okay, that's how you feel. You're not interested in me. I'm not interested in you. Why don't you move on?" I don't think she played this very well. What do you guys think?
Well, let me say this real quick, Aubrey. There's an old saying that people may forget what you do, but they never forget how you made them feel. Okay, that's very powerful. And when that was said in this, when Blake apologized, and he didn't really know what he was apologizing for.
Then
But
why
she just said what
apologize?
you
Then
said
why
made me feel
apologize?
bad. But I'm telling you why. Because
Okay.
he felt like he hurt her feelings. So it doesn't matter what the subject matter was. If she felt bad because he said something, he's apologizing that I made you feel bad. I may not be apologizing for my position on the issue. My position is my position. But because it made you feel bad, I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry you felt bad. So I agree with him there. He's acknowledging her feelings. She just wanted to attack him. Oh, you're not a benign tumor. You're a malignant. You're malignancy. You're a rah, 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 rah. She came in there with that. She wanted him to feel that. And she wanted to attack him. And he wasn't buying it. Simple as that. You know?
Okay. You had your say. Brian,
I
I want to come. I want to come to you last because you got some special things to say, or you know this gentleman personally. Kimberly, what are your thoughts about this?
I was rejoicing on the other end of the screen, but I don't think Blake is a fraud or imposter as she's saying, but I do think that it was built up anger. And Blake saying something along the lines that she wouldn't get like 80% of what she wanted if she has kids. But I don't think there's any comparison with the woman who has one child versus a man with 3 and 2 to 3 baby mamas. So of course your time is going to be split a little differently. So he's making assumptions off of his household, not saying that is what she would get, because hopefully hers would come within a marriage and then the time isn't split all up. And I also don't like when people say things like that, oh, once you have children or once you get married, you're not going to be able to do this. Just because you can't do it in your life doesn't mean that it's cut for everybody. So I don't like that generalization.
Right.
Here's the thing. We don't like generalization. Yes, we don't like to be grouped with other people. We don't like to be compared. However, if I don't know you, I don't have no attraction to you, I don't have no skin in the game with you, I have no reason to be bothered by anything, any of your thoughts, because you're not my problem. You're somebody else's problem. Okay, so that's where I keep coming at this with Morgan. And if we're going to keep looking at all Blake has done since day one, we can look at everything Morgan has done this whole episode. Okay, this whole episode, she was showing her behind this whole episode.
She was.
So, like, I'll hold her feet to the fire on this. It's the after. I don't care that she had to tell him what made her feel, how she felt. If she wasn't hurt, she was hurt or whatever. That part is fine. But when he got up and said, this conversation is done, I wish you the best or whatever, all that extra she did at the end, that part was where it was like, okay, sis, you doing way too much at this point, because your problem is you didn't get to this man the way you wanted to in anything you said prior already. Now you want to throw the extras. That's your character, not his. You're making yourself look bad. And as a queen, as you called yourself to Anthony, play your position. Move on. In your eyes, he should be a peasant. So there's no reason for me to go ahead and try to belittle you and make you feel any less than whatever you are and stuff like that in my eyes, because you're already beneath me. So I don't have to keep talking down to you to try to get the last word and make myself feel. That's all you was doing to make yourself feel better. So yes, when you keep screaming, I'm not hurt, you sound real hurt, because what you're doing now is trying to hurt him back. That was unnecessary. After you get all what you have to say off your chest, he made you feel some type of way. And I agree with you, Alex. He apologized. The apology was because she said, you said some unkind things to me. That's the apology. Well, I didn't mean to say some unkind things, but I said a whole bunch of things. So can you specify what I said that was unkind? So I can correct that part. Okay. If you can't tell me, and I've been in this situation, if you cannot tell me what I did that made you feel some type of way, well, now you just don't like me, and you just trying to have a reason to be at me for whatever.
And being petty.
You know specifically what I said to you, then okay, well, you know what? Let me correct myself. That's not what I meant. And let's go. That's how we move forward from here. And we all have seen Blake. He is just not the best with words. He lives with whatever his opinion is. That's what it is. And we got this notion. So if I already know this is the type of dude that is going to say anything that comes to the top of his head, I'm not going to be moved by a lot of the stuff that he say. That's his opinion.
Right.
I'm sorry if you live in a delusional world where you feel like kids is a hindrance to your life.
Right.
And you know what? And you know what,
sorry
Jay?
if you're in a delusional world where you feel like I'm doing anything to have a baby. Yes, that wasn't regarded. I mean, he shouldn't have said that. But if I don't feel that, if it don't apply, I'm letting it fly. Period.
Ooh, girl, wait a minute. You were giving me Cochran reminiscence. Say that again.
That's what I'm saying. If it doesn't affect you, why are you so pressed about it? If that's not you, if you're not here doing anything for a child, why would that bother you so much? Now, if he's running around telling everybody, then tell him. You don't need to be telling everybody that I'm trying to do anything for a child.
Right.
But if he just said that to you and the company that was in that conversation right there, let it go. Or tell him right there, I was bothered by that. That's not me. Please don't go around telling nobody that's what I'm out here doing. And we can be done. I don't have to go with the extras. You're malignant cancer. The women don't deserve you, this, that, and the third, or whatever. Okay, sis. I was glad that he moved it like that. Okay, well, that's how you feel.
And we all know that if Blake didn't at least offer an apology, everybody be mad at him for that. Because you can't win. Blake cannot win right now.
He did. He actually did by doing what he did. But go ahead. And then,
you say, like, some of us would say, we'll look at it and we'd say this is a win for us, but the majority of women still be like, oh, he's manipulating, he's doing this, he's doing that. So it's really no win in this situation when it comes to women that are still hurt or triggered by him from whatever he did in the past. This is just hate to put Chris Brown in this right now, but it's just the same situation. We still bringing up him from 17 years ago. Not saying that he's changed.
It took me a while, but I finally forgave him as far as being for an artist, because he's never going to be in my personal life, so I don't have to deal with him. But I'm saying, like, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, if that person has moved on, why are we holding on to hurt feelings for him and stuff like that? If they chalked it up, whatever the issue, you bringing Jeffrey's issue into your issue. What does Jeffrey's issue got to do with you and what he said to you? That all this extra stuff, like. Why are we doing this? If I don't like you, I just don't like you. I don't have to have excuses. I'm grown.
Yeah, that's true. Ron, go ahead and jump in here, because this is bringing out a lot of emotion out of many of the panelists, myself included. So go ahead and jump in here with your thoughts about it.
Y'all just don't get it. I actually feel sorry for Morgan in this situation.
What is it we don't get?
Morgan was used. And
used how? By whom?
Production been trying to get Blake for the longest. They tried to get him on the boat scene. He wiggled out. They tried to get him on the setup on the double date. He wiggled out. They've been trying to get him. And what they want is Zoe. They want the Sharice and Zoe situation. They want to get him riled up enough so they can make him look like he's intimidated. You know what I mean? That he's coming out with a little anger, because they can do wonders with that. Ooh. That's what they're trying to get out of him. He's been playing it so perfect. So what they do is they get the strongest women. They probably went to Mercedes. She probably said, no, I'm cool with Blake. I ain't going to do it. They probably went to Cynthia. She said, no, I ain't going to do it. I'm cool with Blake. They got Morgan to do it. They told her to go in. You got to be a pit bull. You got to get them. You got to do this. You got to do that. Da. They tried to do it with me in a scene that didn't get shown. It was supposed to be my exit scene. Okay. It was with me, Benicia, and Kyra. Kyra's job, because she's a lawyer, was to try to make it seem like I use money in order to get women, which I don't. And Kyra know me for a long time and knows I don't. So
don't though. Oh, that's a different story. Go ahead.
Yeah, but they're looking for, at this point, they're biting straws. They're looking for anything, and they got to get you out. So they don't like you no more. So
wait a minute. You're trying to say that production actually did want Blake out, but yet he's still there after how many times in the bottom? Is that what you're saying, Ron?
Yeah, they got it. Yeah. They're trying to get them trapped in the right scenario to get them out where it looks like it's something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They want him for some reason. I don't know if his personality. I don't know if he pissed somebody off. In my situation, I pissed somebody off.
Oh, I'm sure he ticked somebody off, because he's that guy. Like Jay said, he really doesn't mind his words very carefully.
Yeah, so he might have ticked somebody off, but they want him. But they want him. They don't want you the right way. They don't want to just let you get a graceful exit on this part right here. So
they want you to be a David, a Zoe.
Yeah, they want that. That's what they want. That's what they've been trying to get. So like I said, in my situation, Kyra her job was to come in and be the pit bull, do the Morgan. It didn't come off that way. They yelled at her. Oh, girl, you're supposed to be a lawyer. You let them off like that, this, and this. And she's my friend. She told me everything. And and they couldn't air that scene because of it, because it didn't. I saw it come. It didn't come off the way they wanted it to come off. They used Morgan the same way. Her job, that's why I don't believe any of the context of which she was mad about and things of that nature. She wasn't that offended. She's dating Tony. Tony, an uptown New Yorker. He didn't blitted so much stuff out of his mouth at this point by now. It's ridiculous. And she ain't mad at that. Her job was strictly to go there and get Blake. Blake played it so perfect. Blake's light years ahead of her when it comes to this type of stuff. She looked like the angry black woman. It backfired. It backfired so much, it almost seemed like production set her up. Like they knew Blake was going to be able to pass this, and they wanted to make her look like the angry woman. And that's how bad it was. And Morgan should have turned it down. She should have said, no, I ain't going to do that. She went for it. It didn't work out. It looked really bad on her part. Blake escapes again. So my thing now is the production going to try to get him again or are they finally going to give up? Because the only person that can get Blake at this time to give them production what they want is Sue. She's the lawyer. She's trained. She knows him. So they even got to turn Sue against him or they're not going to get him. But they want him bad. And that's production. I see all through it. It's happened so many times. They want him. But they want him right. They want him the right way. They ain't just going to say, oh, you're in the bottom. You're going to go. Nah, he leaves scot-free. No, they want to get revenge. Our production's petty as a mug, and they're good, and they're smart. And as I said, I've never seen it take them this long to get somebody. But Blake is good. He's trained.
Wow, that's interesting. And our viewers have some interesting comments because LMV says that Morgan did look angry. And I agree, she did. I think sometimes it's kind of like the mind. When you ever think about your mind controls what you think and how you think. And when you go to therapy, you sometimes learn from a therapist that what you think is so true. What your mind thinks you can create. And, so the bad side, you have to turn that around and create something different on the good side. But Morgan brought a lot of energy for something that happened a long time ago. Some things that an acquaintance, and I'm going to say acquaintance because you're on this show for a brief time. So this lady, unless you knew her beforehand, is simply an acquaintance. And I'm not going to get ganged up on a guy because we as girls, we're like a girl gang and we're against the boy gang. No, I'm not going to do that. And you're right, Ron. If that's what happened, if that is truly what happened, then Morgan should not have taken this assignment.
And you saw it, how it was going to happen because they kept switching to her interview so much. That's how little context they had on Blake. So they kept switching to her interview, which is a whole different day and a half later, whatever like that, and it's throwing out those buzzwords: cancer, narcissist, you know what I mean? Like those things that try to trigger the thing, and it just didn't work.
Now you just brought up something before we go. I got to say this, though, because when I watched it back over again, he's the one that brings up the cancer word. Like and I didn't write it down.
He brought it up because she said she addressed the Jeffrey thing, and he was like, it just keeps coming back like a cancer.
Like a cancer. Okay.
Yeah. And that's what she decides she's going to flip that statement and use it against him.
Use it against as a buzzwords because, what they're trying to do is they're trying to trigger some audience members, and it didn't go right. I mean, sometimes it goes perfect, sometimes it don't. It didn't go right. It didn't fester over. Those buzzwords wasn't enough because there wasn't enough context. Because Blake really hasn't done much wrong yet. You just don't like him. And they need that smoking gun. Like I told Aubrey, I was like, if she had a smoking gun, she better have used it then, and she didn't have it. She needed it. Maybe they got it on them.
But if you look at the beginning of the episode too, when they was in the thing and she was going back, Jeffrey and him was going back and forth. She was the only one laughing. She was instigating it, the whole thing or whatever. It's like
wait. When Jeffrey was going back and forth with Blake, who was Morgan was laughing and instigating. Somebody was like, "I don't like any of this," and she was like, "I do." Oh, not
she
good.
She was doing all that extra stuff. That's what I'm saying. It's like
she was told to come on here and play this role. She overplayed it because she had to nail it, and she couldn't nail it because Blake weaved out of it. So she kept pouring it on more and more, trying to nail the scene, and it made it worse. And like I said, that's why I feel sorry for Morgan. I don't believe that's 100% her personality. I believe she was trying to get it.
What? No, Jay, you said something. What?
No, because he's saying I don't believe that's 100% her personality, but the way she came at production already for the Tony and Anthony situation on her live.
No, she has it in her. They picked her because she
I
has
haven't
it
seen
in her.
that. I haven't seen that. That's on her. That's on her IG live. I'm sorry. Hold
Well,
on a minute,
it's not recent. It was a couple of weeks ago when she was saying.
Oh, she definitely got it in her. That's why they picked her. They picked the tough girls. They ain't gonna have a docile, you know what I mean? Like go after Blake. They know that's not gonna work. They're gonna pick the most mean, lean. They like lawyers because they know lawyers are trained in the triggering and putting those things out of people. But they only got one lawyer here, and he got her, so they can't use her. But so they don't got a lawyer, so they got to use your top tough girls, and that's why you just seen Morgan, you just seen Jeffrey, you seen Marcia, you seen what they have, and the other ones have basically turned the assignment down. They asked everybody.
Well, she a fool for listening to production because they done set her up this whole episode because they had her going after everybody and it just made her look bad at the end.
Yep, and now they got to take the material they got and they got to flip it. It might, like I said, it might really work bad in her favor. Like I said, I feel sorry for them.
Guys, what do you think? What do you think? Are we getting to the getaway, the resort, the retreat? Are we getting to that? Because I'm ready for that now. I'm ready
Meet the Exes next, and I think that's gonna be great. Meet the Exes.
Oh, wait a minute! We get to meet Blake, Jamil, Jamal, Dimples, X. That should be
and pay attention and pay good attention to who the X is about to be.
Wait, whose year is this for the X's though? The men's or the women's? You know, we only get it's every other year. So
but he said Blake, so it must be the men. You're right. You're right, Jay. But Brian, you're saying we're going to meet the men's exes?
What I've heard that Blake brings his ex.
Okay.
So maybe it's a both, or maybe I've seen it do. They've done both in some seasons.
I haven't seen both yet.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, I thought in the resort.
Yeah, it's like one will bring the ex and the other will bring the family, and it alternates.
Oh, the family. Okay. Guys,
yeah, this episode 8 coming up. The next episode is 8.
Okay. Yeah, pay attention who that ex is gonna be. A little spoiler alert.
Mocha says the women's exes, but we'll see. I guess we'll see. It's somebody's exes. I don't know.
Yeah, I think. Well, we're getting some information that maybe it's Blake's ex. Let me see. What is my girl Monique saying? And Morgan was confused when she was coming at production. Okay. Yeah, I didn't see that IG live. I don't know how. Monique, how did you let me?
Live. She was mad.
Really?
She was mad.
I ain't watching it.
Oh my goodness. Oh well, Monique, I don't know how you let that slide by me. I'm gonna have to create my IG group because I get stuff in my DMs and people say, "Hey, come on my podcast, let's collaborate."
And I heard that Marcia was told in her live that she said that when she brought up the Blake thing at the couples day, that she was told to do so. She spilled the tea.
Yeah, that seemed like it was because I was like.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing, little Hurl. I just got to your comment. Ask Ron, what does top tough girls mean? Are they wearing brass knuckles or dancing?
Like West Side Story.
I can't even get through that. But yeah, you see it, Ron. Which one is it, Ron? Is it the brass knuckles or are they dancing like they're in West Side Story?
Or is it Michael Jackson bad?
It's hard to explain.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Girl that you know as a man, like she got too much attitude, you don't come at her. She gonna come with all that and get in
with
your
rah-rah.
Get in your grill, she gonna light you up, is what they say, whatever they say like that. So some girls got it in them, some women don't. You know what I mean? So they pick the ones that do.
Jay said Michael Jackson's bad, huh?
Yeah. You know how they got the little thing and they ain't going around in a circle with their little.
What really needs more personality, I think. You wouldn't send Z at Blake. You know what I mean? Somebody like that with a smaller personality. Yeah. It ain't gonna work.
Got it. Somebody that can hold theirs. I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Wow. Well, our Ravine is telling us that we are meeting the women's ex next week. Thank you, Ravine. I appreciate that because I did not know, honestly, but that's awesome. I'm looking forward. Now, that's when it really heats up, when we start meeting folks' exes or whether it's their family, because I find a lot of times that would be interesting. I find that a lot of times when we meet these various people from these castmates, they're telling more stuff, like instead of, getting things out of the people in the castmates, the family members and the exes are giving away stuff and making these people, the castmates, look kind of bad. So that should be interesting.
Oh yeah, I did remember seeing the little clip where Cynthia was needing people to calm down because Dre was getting all hot and bothered by some questions or something that was happening.
Oh
so,
yeah,
I remember now. I remember.
He
I
got.
thought it was the family that was coming, but okay, it's the exes.
Oh, was it the ex? I wasn't sure if that guy was his brother or somebody
Yeah,
else.
I thought it was family. I thought it was their family, but I don't know.
Well, ever since the exes now, they're gonna come, especially the guys, they're gonna come rough because Liz's ex, remember, he got all that shine becoming real
he was
hard.
good. Liz's ex on your season.
Yeah, he got all that shine. So now the men that's coming in and say, okay, I might be able to get a little shine if I come hard. So now they come in with more force.
Yeah. I love it though. I love what he did. And didn't he run poor David off? David was like,
David was mad. David was
what
like,
what was that famous line? Can we bring the temperature down in the room? I hollered, can we bring the temperature down in the room? Guys, I want to thank you so much for being a part of this. I want to thank you for being here. All of our viewers, if you're watching this on the replay, please remember, yes, please, and thank you for clicking that like button, subscribing to the channel, becoming a member. I thank you for all your love and support. I want to take the time to go around the room. We'll start with Kimberly next to me, move on to Alex, and then down to Ron, and then over to Jay last. So Kimberly, can you tell us how they can find you, what you're doing on your channel briefly?
Oh, yes. Thank you always for the opportunity. I enjoy listening and learning. That's what I call these episodes and panel reviews. We learn a lot from each other. So on my channel, we do a live watch on Wednesday for Married at First Sight, 8 p.m. Eastern, and Friday for Ready to Love, 8 p.m. Eastern. So we watch the show together. I also post my travels. And last but not least, I believe in being debt-free. So I have a debt-free session on my channel for you all. So thank you for the support. Kimberly Reviews on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
All right. Alex, magnetic repellent, I should say.
Yeah. Hit like on the way in. Everybody hit like. I enjoyed this this segment. Go over to magnetic repellent. Y'all know what it is.
Short and sweet. Ryan, you go ahead. I'm looking for you guys information in here, but I can only find some, so I'm sorry about that. Okay. Ron, go ahead and tell them where they can find you.
You can follow me at I am Ron Freeman. That's on Instagram and Facebook. I think me and Alex, we got you're going Monday for the
Monday.
Tomorrow.
Okay,
we're
so
on tomorrow.
So it should be very interesting. So everybody go watch that and jump in the chat. And you can hit me up in the DMs if you have any questions about what's been said.
Okay, because our viewers always find you very interesting, Ryan. For what reason, I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, I understand. No, you are. You are, because you may provide an opposing opinion of what we ladies think or what I think. I don't, it doesn't matter. But you stand firm and 10 toes down in whatever you feel and whatever you're thinking. And when you're wrong, you will admit it. So I will admit
when I'm wrong. Definitely.
I love that about you. So thank you, Ron. Jay, last but certainly not least.
Hey, thank you all for having me. I'm Jay from another round. Listen, I've been on auntie duties lately and baking, so please forgive me. My heart is in it, and my channel is under construction because I'm rearranging my woman's cave so I can have it all nice and ready so I can just jump in here when I'm not doing all these other things. So just look out. Randomly, I'll be dropping stuff real soon.
Okay, because I've been on your channel and you do have the video still up. I take it from Love and Marriage DC. Are you going to continue to cover that?
Yeah, I'm gonna come back with it, especially because yesterday's episode. Last night's episode was so
good. Ooh,
it was so
that was
good.
A goody.
I might be up here tomorrow, popped up real quick and stuff. So I'll hit you, Aubrey, if I'm up here tomorrow.
Okay, hit me up. I'm available. It's my day off. So and then Alex and I to talk about Love and Marriage DC, just so you guys know, if you aren't already aware, on this channel at Actually Aubrey, we do Love and Marriage DC on Tuesday nights at 7:30, right, Alex?
Yes, absolutely. Be there.
Be there, be square. So guys, we're gonna slide on out of here, but we're gonna all say goodbye and we're gonna move on. Say bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye. Love you.